Hello, listeners, and welcome to the second season of the Adapt podcast, the podcast about how society adapts to the world's growing challenges. My name is Harish Murugesan, and I am a present freshman at The Ohio State University with a major in computer science and engineering. Now, today I have the honor to be joined by Mr. Thomas Serval. Mr. Serval is a revered businessman with over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience over 3 different companies. In fact, while getting a PhD at École Normale, he was a visiting fellow at the University in Harvard in economics and law. Mr. Serval is part of the technical advisory board of Altavia, and currently Mr. Serval was the CEO of Colbury Toothbrushes and Care OS. After these 2 companies, he is now the CEO of Baracoda, a health tech company with some seriously innovative technology in different parts of the health field. So thank you again, Mr. Serval, for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first, as I like to start a lot of my episodes off with, as I talk to a lot of industry leaders and entrepreneurs that are truly bringing in an innovative product, I really like asking them this very same first question, which is, what were some of the steps to get you to the place you are? And essentially, what is your story to bring you to Baracoda and all the innovative products that it has?
Okay, so it's really hard to track back where an idea come from, but for me, I started in academia and I studied statistics and economics, as you mentioned. Statistics now is a new cool name called AI. So I started long when it was not cool, and before I created Baracoda, I was with Microsoft and Google. And in Silicon Valley, there is a say that there is no problem that cannot be solved with technology. So I'm coming from this background, and Baracoda story started with my daughter not brushing her teeth, and then I invented a smart toothbrush and toothbrush that can tell me if she brushes her teeth correctly or not. And then we had a lot of success. We were in millions of households with a partnership with Colgate. So the idea then was, if I am in a mean of bathroom, how can I take advantage to bring, better health to people? The same way as a father, I wanted my daughter to have better teeth. I realized the bathroom was a unique place which has not been invaded by the Google of the world or the Apple and everything for a lot of various reasons we can discuss. So it was an empty field for entrepreneur, as well as an incredible source of data, because everybody spends, at least most countries, people spend an hour in the bathroom per day. So it's an incredible source of data and insights on how people, clean or what is their daily habits, etc., which is very, very valuable if you want to work in preventive healthcare, which is the area of Baracoda. So overall now, Baracoda's journey is about connecting the bathroom for preventive healthcare. So capturing those new science, those new data, and understanding how they can relate to some condition and overall health. That's my journey from AI and data to bathroom to connected health.
Okay, I think it's a very cool pathway to hear about, as the many things you hit in your pathway are kind of in a way very different, right? You went from data analytics to now in an entrepreneurial kind of aspect to, bathrooms and data. So I truly find that interesting. Now, going back to Baracoda and kind of its general overview as a company, would you be willing to tell our viewers at home what Baracoda is as a company and what are some of its main goals and its products and innovations?
Yes. So Baracoda is a 200 people company. We rebranded Baracoda Daily Health Tech, because initially we were doing a lot more things, but now we're really focusing on connecting the bathroom. We provide we have what is called a B2B2C business model. So we provide innovation, we file patents, we provide software, but you won't find a Baracoda toothbrush or a Baracoda mirror. We work with companies who are already there, who are already established distribution, and we license our technology. So $20 million of sales, profitable. Under this current form, Baracoda exists for 10 years. But it takes this route for almost 20 years working in the IoT space. So right now, what we offer to customers, it is a set of devices that will help them have a better health. So we start with smart toothbrush to learn how to clean your teeth correctly, or to give your dentist some feedback. We have a smart bath mat that allows you to track your weight and detect the risk of falling for elderly. A smart mirror that is able to diagnose the most common condition with your skin, with your mental health, and some vitals. A smart wristband that is able to collect your vitals and no longer requires you to be recharged. And we keep building those innovations under the second. So that's Baracoda Innovation. And there's a Baracoda product called B Connect, which is the technical term is agenting platform, so an AI agent that helps you build new devices quickly. And so we use this for us only. And as of January 2025, we offer this platform as a standalone product for innovators that want to create their own devices. So those are like the two pillars of Baracoda, like innovation in the bathroom and this B Connect platform to empower innovators to do that. We have a third pillar, which is, if you have an idea, we have all the knowledge to make your ideas real. So we have factories to make those devices, and we have software development people as well. But this is more like a means to an end. So that's not a strategic asset. It's more like, from a great product to a great solution. So sometimes you need people to do the extra miles, to customize it to your need, especially when you don't sell to customer directly, you sell through big corporations. So they are usually a little clumsy into fine-tuning a product to go to market. That's why we provide as well as a service.
Mm. Wow, totally interesting. I was a little surprised actually too, because a lot of the research I was putting into Baracoda, I found that it was mostly a health tech company, right? Making like the Be Mind mirror and some of the other products you listed before, which especially for the viewers at home, I'll put up a little video to give some insight on how these products are and they look in real life. But one of the things that caught me off guard was actually the Be Connect. And I think that's one of the ideas we quite haven't struck in, I think, my podcast so far is how does the genesis of an innovation come about? And you mentioned Be Connect being something that helps increase the speed of the innovation process and make it more easy. So could you tell us a little bit about kind of where the genesis of an innovation comes from and how Be Connect kind of helps that even more?
So genesis of an idea is it's very hard to do, but I can tell you how I do it. And it's usually not generalized because everybody has his own brand and his own way of thinking. As you can hear with my strong accent, I'm French. And in France, we have like a way that is very different from an Anglo-Saxon in a way of looking at the world. We like to build a theory first, and then we apply our theory to reality. So we go from really above to practical needs. So, and that's not, I can't say it's the right way or the wrong way, but it's just a different way to innovate. So, as I was telling you, like, I am trying to connect the bathroom and capture as many data that are important in the bathroom. So the idea was, I had started with a problem for my daughter. And so what is the need from a father that wants her daughter to brush her teeth. You have two needs. One is you need to know whether she's done it or not. Yeah. So you need to have a way to track that. But the biggest need is actually not that, because I can track that you have not done it, but what will be changed? I can shout at her, but until I make her motivated to brush her teeth, I will not truly achieve my goal, which is basically for her to brush her teeth automatically. So that's why there is a pillar about monitoring and there is a pillar about engagement and motivation. So I try to invent devices that can measure something valuable. We call it an index. Or in the case of smart bath mat, you want to know the risk of falling. So it's a new index. It's something that nobody has measured before. And the AI and data allows you to create those scores, which are the result of extensive analysis, because you realize once you have data that maybe you have a triggering element, like when you are above this level, the risk of falling is increased, etc. So we are trying to measure something new. And the second thing is, like, if you measure something and you can't act upon it, it's very frustrating. So we are trying to measure something onto which you can act upon. And so in the case of the risk of falling, we know that there are exercise and games that will make you have a better balance. So the philosophy behind everything I do is, can I measure something new? Can I act upon it? And obviously there's something new, it needs to be related to your health. So there are plenty of needs, but we narrow down our needs towards, can I measure something? And can I act upon this measurement? That's how we sort out our ideas. And then it's simple. You look at the world health's biggest problem. Daily hygiene, like washing your hands. If everybody was washing their hands 7 times a day, 90% of the world disease will disappear. So in preventive healthcare, that's one of the low-hanging fruit. People with good health in their mouth have 10 years more of life expectancy than the people who have bad ones. So we are measuring the quality of your brushing. And so that's how my innovations are getting started. They start by, what is the issue? Can we measure something? Can we act upon it? And so the known issues about healthcare are well known. You go on the WHO and they are telling you oral care, and they tell you weight, obesity, etc. And then what is the pain? And then how can you measure? And then how can you solve it? And many times you need to invent something to measure. Like, you measure temperature because there is a thermometer. It's easy. But there is a lot of things you cannot measure, or at least are the result of the merge of many data sets that are not so easy. And so in many cases, you need to invent the measurement tool before acting upon it. And so we do this almost in all our inventions. I hope it helps understanding a little bit how I invented. So then BeConnect, once I have the idea and I know what to measure, BeConnect is a tool that helps me go faster. Why? Is because when you invent connected device, it's always the same. You have something to measure, something to handle the data and route it, like usually the phone, and then you have something to store the data, usually the cloud. So every connected device are made of those 3 things. And every time someone new or has a new idea, they reinvent the wheel. They reinvent their own apps, they reinvent the connectivity. So instead of focusing on measuring the new index, which I mentioned, like the thing that you can act upon, people get lost in developing an iPhone apps or developing an Android app, which is obviously it's important, because if you don't have the whole solution, nobody will buy it. But it's so more common than the true innovative measurement that you have been able to identify as related to a condition. So with the tool I put in common, BeConnect allows me to factor in all the commonalities of connected device. So everything that is the same: connectivity, security, identification, visualization of the data, application, all this is generated automatically. So I can really focus on what is really truly new and innovative and go faster towards a customer.
That's beautiful. I find your thought process very interesting to how approaching an innovative idea. And I really liked how B Connect kind of allows you to be more efficient with that process. So I'm definitely excited to see what more products Baracoda has in store for the future. Now, going a little bit back to Baracoda and the company as a total, what are some of the most popular products you see as a company, and why do you think those products become the most popular?
So we have a partnership with a multinational company called Colgate. So our success depends on our partner's success, which is a win-win partnership. You know, you need to have your partner that sells well, and they sell well if they have an innovation. So the most popular of our product right now, because we have 3 million out there, are our smart toothbrushes. Um, because, you know, the market of toothbrushes is, in volume, it's 6 billion pieces a year. So it's a lot of people, and it's still growing because people need to have better brushing. They are moving to electric brushing in many countries. So huge markets, and I see this as a big opportunity. Um, but once and we are not selling toothbrushes, we are selling connected toothbrushes. And that's opened up a brand new world because the same way, because once you're connected, you are in direct relationship between the brand and the consumer all the time. So this permanent connection allow to discover new needs. So for instance, I'm inventing new games to make you happy and enjoy your brushing. And so I see a very bright future towards what we call a compliance platform. Because if you realize what matters is not that you have a device, the matter is that you use a device. And a lot of brands, a lot of manufacturers have not been really, because they had great products. They have not been so much focused about the engagement, like how sticky your product is with your customer. And if you are able to turn your product into a habit, then it's a win. It's a win for the user because basically it has good outcome from a health perspective. It's a win for the manufacturer because they are making more sales, and it's usually a win for society because if you follow the guidance and the right use of the product, the health outcome are the best. So with this compliance platform, not only for oral care, which is as really like the beyond the products themselves has the ultimate goal of Baracoda and the benefit of our technology. Compliance can be summarized as having good habits or taking good habits, which is so fundamental in modern life.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. I found that process very interesting as to how, the like as a market of toothbrushes, how you're noticing a lot of different changes in, let's say, a general electric toothbrush gaining more popularity. Well, on the other hand, what else can we do to that? Can we, making it a connected toothbrush is opening that little gap in the market and, providing a better and innovative product for customers. So definitely very cool space to be in at the moment, I believe. And so going back into a little bit into 2024, recent at the CES of 2024, you guys released a look into the Be Mind mirror, which is a very cool mirror that has a lot of different innovative products that I don't think our viewers would know much about. So, do you mind telling us a little bit about this mirror?
I don't mind telling you more about BeMind. So, uh, as I was explaining in my thought process, it all starts with a problem. So 25% of Americans wake up in the morning with a little low energy, I might say. And, they have a little down moment. And, it's great. You have to wake up, you have to go to work, you have to, take care of the kids, whatever. So, and there is not 100 million psychiatrists or psychologists to take care of you. So the question is, if you are down, first of all, can we diagnose how down you are? Like, you have people who are very, very suicidal, like they have to be taken care of with professional help. And, just people who had a bad night and just need to have a little cheer up. So the idea behind Be Mind is, since every morning you go in front of your mirror for your daily routine, can we use this intimacy moment to figure out, in which mental state you are? And then once again, this is the index story I was telling. Once we understand in which mental state you are, can we act upon it? So the Be Mind concept is, first of all, asking you how you're doing, and then ask you what you have to say, and we analyze what you're saying, how you're saying it, and what's your posture. So what you say can be, "Oh, I'm exhausted." Okay. Then the sound of your voice also gives a lot of information. Like, are you truly exhausted? You have no more voice, or are you just exhausted because it's a long day, but your energy level is still high? And then your posture will tell a lot. So it's called multimodal analysis. We will look at your sound, the video, and your very words to put you into one of the 9 categories that range from suicidal to just having a little down moment. And once we diagnose those, we don't replace any professional psychiatrist. We will act upon it. In most cases, like 99% of the cases, it's about, making you smile, or showing you a nice video, or recommending you do a little bit of meditation or breathing exercise. So Be Mind is about diagnosing and doing some triage about your mental state, and using AI to be a better, more careful psychologist than the one you can have for professional support, because in 90% of the time you don't need that. So that's basically the concept of Be Mind, which I must say was very popular in 2024. And it's the first time it happens to me, but they found it so popular that in 2025 they put it as an ongoing trend. So I think we are on to something bigger than we initially thought.
Yeah, I totally agree. I definitely relate to, I think, just the basic idea of just saw a mental health mirror as just on paper. I really enjoyed that idea because personally I've always been, or always tried to be, as positive as I can about anything going on in life, whether it be negative. And I feel in as I've grown up, I've started to see more elders, or, more people my age become kind of less energetic, and, the problems really get to them. And I feel like the Be Mind Mirror is exactly what I would want more people to use. I want to see more people happy. I want to see, my friends and family enjoying their life more. So I definitely appreciate this product a lot, and which has actually made this episode very interesting to me as well. So going back to the mirror, sorry for the little side point about the mirror, but going back to the mirror itself, how does the hardware essentially take in some of, like the things you said, the posture and, just the overall feelings that the patient is feeling? How is the hardware taking in this data?
So it's the 5th years we have been working on what we call KOS, which is the operating system for mirrors. And so if you realize what a mirror is, it's a camera and a screen, right? The camera will take your image and the screen will display it. What will make a mirror is that the fact that it will display in a way that your eyes are perfectly aligned. Otherwise, you have what is called technically a parallax problem. So we can make mirrors just with a camera that looks at you and a screen that displays some information, which in the case of mirror will be used. So the technology we have behind the mirror is, from purely data correction standpoint, a mic and a camera. So no different from a video conferencing tool we are using. And then there is a big part of what we call camera-based intelligence. So the camera is going to analyze your full body and looking at, with different AI layer, looking at the mechanics of your body, your posture. So we know how to do this with using the neural network. Then the mic, it is going to have a voice stream, which will be what you're saying, which will turn in what is called speech to text. So natural language processing. And this language, how are you doing? So we're gonna listen to it in two different ways. One will be really signal analysis. So what is the frequency you're using? Is it your normal voice? Is there a variation between your normal voice, etc.? And there is a part that goes from text to what is called SLM, a small language model, which is very popular. It's not large language model. Large language model relies on cloud-based solutions. Small language model can run locally, and we didn't discuss this that much, but privacy is at the utmost importance, especially when you bring a camera into someone's home, especially in his bathroom. You are adding some serious privacy challenges. So everything runs locally. But once we understand your words, we are able to figure out what they say and use this as an item to create a category. And so those are like the different flow of data. One is going to about your body mechanics. The other one is your signal for the pitch of your voice and then what you're saying. And we do another layer of AI, which is a scoring system, where basically we have different intensity in all those 3 dimensions, and then we put categories of situation based on those scores. That's how it's working.
Okay, got it. So the software and hardware of the mirror kind of work together to come to the conclusion and like the diagnosis of the patient, right?
Yeah and no. We have made sure that the hardware is very standard. So your phone could be a good enough hardware. You don't need a extremely, initially you need a very dedicated hardware, but the progress being made on the software side allows us to work on more and more hardware. That's one of the ongoing lesson of somehow I tend to say that software eats everything. So in the beginning, you need to get a full, very tight connection between software and hardware, especially on the video stream, and because you want to process a lot of data. But along the road and along the progress of the Moore law of the different kind of components, most hardware now supports our software, which was not the case in the beginning.
Okay, got it. So obviously, like you stated, the hardware is, as simple as, just using a phone, in fact. So did that make the kind of R&D process and actualization of this product easier with the hardware being a more simple hardware and, really just working on the software and analyzing the data structures more?
Well, this is not this is really the result of a lot of work to be able to abstract the hardware. But yes, as soon as you you have different way of looking at it. One is, especially in the beginning, you want to have a fixed mirror. So a phone won't be a good fit because somehow the phone can keep moving. And in order for us to be able to do better diagnosis, you need to fully personalize it and see you under the same angle all the time. Because the difference of you under the same angle is a much better data set than you under different angle. We can correct this somehow, but especially in the early phase of the discovery and the research part, having the same hardware, the same angle is very important to get good data. So that's part of the link between the two. Then when you are able to have enough data and then you can, lift some of the restriction related to the hardware, then you get more data, more situation, and you still have a very strong algorithm. And working on a standard platform is helpful to one extent because you have plenty of tools. On the other hand, if you are taking the example of the mirror, you're going to keep your mirror for, let's say, 10 years because you're going to change mirror. You don't change mirror very often. You only keep it with you when you build your home or you refurbish it. Well, if you are talking on Android, you have a new version of Android every 6 months. So
Yeah.
uh, even if you believe it's helping, it's not helping as much because you need to be in full control of the software stack so that you can guarantee some level of stability along the life cycle of your product. So that's why even if we are working on standardized hardware, we maintain a full stack from hardware to software. So we are not dependent on third-party software stack that could jeopardize the stability of the overall system. And that's kind of important because when you design product, you have to imagine what is the life cycle of the product. And the example of Android is associated with the life cycle of a phone, which is 2 to 3 years, which is very, very far away from the use case that we are expecting to have with smart mirrors.
Yeah, totally. There's always, I feel like every year there are so many different phones and technology that's obviously coming. And a mirror is one of those reliable, I think, appliances in the household. So that'll definitely be staying. As to Baracoda's overall product display, just as a very small, slight piece of a question, is there any plans to use AR or augmented reality into any innovations in the future?
So we do have two products we are usually using AR. We have a kids toothbrush that uses AR to make it more fun for the kids, creating yourself mask and everything. And we have a makeup app that uses a lot of AR in one of our mirrors called Artemis, which just helps you know what we will be looking at. We are going to also release AR-based tutorial where in order for you to learn how to, let's say, put makeup on, I mean, we are not in the target group, but some people need to know how to make makeup. You will have dots on your eyebrows, for instance, to follow and guide you and tell you if you're doing well. So AR is a complete part of the engagement and model, and we will keep using AR as much as it works.
Got it. Definitely very useful product for makeup users around the world. So excited to see those types of, AR products coming out more.
We also are not only makeup. I should add, people don't know, but for skincare, 50% of the efficiency of a cream depends on the way you apply it to your face. So that's even more universal. Yeah, more universal way. Like if you miss a spot, let's say you put sunscreen. If you miss a spot, you're gonna be all red. So there is plenty of application which AR and AI are actually partnering together.
Mhm. Totally. I did not know that. That was a very cool little fact. Yeah, I think that's the kind of holes that, innovations like AR and AI look to solve, right? And yeah, sadly we are coming to the close of this episode. But before I like to end, I always like asking all of my guests, all of the leaders and innovators in the world today, um, what, in your opinion, is the next frontier of orientation past the current frontier, including artificial and intelligence and augmented reality? What's that next innovation that will truly change the world and create a next frontier?
If you look at the world with uh, now we have an unlimited flow of data and we have almost unlimited computing capability. The part that is really lagging, and we see this worldwide, is energy. Those devices, and this is why we are doing it in this device like that, which are wristband that don't need to be recharged. I think it's really almost infinite energy. Because then there would be no more limitation to the use of data and everything. For now, if you use ChatGPT, it consumes an insane amount of energy for sometimes not very, very efficient results. So I think really getting to um, fully autonomous devices. Look at your phone. You are so addicted, but every 2 days you have to recharge it. So this is the next frontier. We start seeing this with the smart, with the cars and everything. But I think the next frontier is going to be energy, um, just to demultiply the use cases of connected and AI. I have other frontiers, but let's maybe close on that one because that's one I think is clearly mandatory to go to the next stages.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Even for the viewers at home and even Mr. Serval, if you've looked into any of the previous podcast episode, energy has been a very common answer because I think a lot of the products that come on the show, they really try to, to make more efficient energy, clean energy, and make it just globally accessible, which is definitely one of the biggest problems in current society right now, I would argue. And it's definitely important that, energy becomes more efficient for, future generations to really see not only the generations flourish, but definitely a lot more innovative products as well. So sadly, we are coming to the a close of this episode, but thank you again, Mr. Serval, for joining me here today.
A pleasure. And I I hope my little ideas will be helpful for future entrepreneurs to follow the same path.
Definitely, definitely. That's almost one of the biggest things that pushed me to create this podcast, really. Just spread ideas, gain motivation across the world, and overall help the world adapt again to its growing challenges. So thank you again, Mr. Serval, for joining me today. And for the viewers that are watching at home, thank you for tuning in to this very fun and entertaining conversation with Mr. Serval.